Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurti. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarod Anirakaranamastva Nirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirate Yaupanishatsu Dharmaste Mai Santu Te Mai Santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Next two mantras are supposed to be in your cell phone. Pustak mata hai. Everybody has that? 8, 12, 2. 8, 12, 1 we did. No, but it's not in this one. Avu and Chapina, okay, all right. Okay. That is cell phone bada pasand nathi. Okay. So those you have, well and good. If you don't have, just repeat after after me. Ashariraha Vayuhu Abhram Vidyuta Stanayitnuhu Asharirani Eva Asharirani Etani Dadyatha Etani Amushmat Akashat Samuthaya Param Jyotihi Upasampadya Svena Rupena Avinishpadyante. So earlier we were told Aptovai Sashariraha Priya Priyabhyam. How Sashariraha, one who is identified with the body, one who has become one with the body, meaning one who cannot be distinguished from the body. What is meant by Atma, the self or consciousness, identified with the body, meaning that I take myself to a body. Therefore, there is no distinction between I and body. Therefore, the Atma, as though has become the body, has become indistinguishable from the body. Now the Shruti has to teach us how from this state of having been one with the body because of ignorance, how due to the Upadesha of the teacher, He arises from this body and attains his own nature of consciousness. Now, arising is just only figuratively. There is no arising involved. What is meant is how, as a result of the instruction by the teacher, he progressively gives up the identification of the body and attains his true nature. Here, Prajapati taught Indra. In the first case, Prajapati said, hey, look, the self in the eye, the waker is the Atma. Then Indra came back. Second time then, Prajapati said, the dreamer is Atma. When you say dreamer is Atma, which means that the gross body is not the Atma. Waker is the Atma, means the self identified with the gross body. Then dreamer is Atma. In dream, there is no gross body. That means this gross body is not the Atma. Now the subtle body is Atma. Deep sleeper is Atma. Which means that even the subtle body is not the Atma. The causal body is Atma. Then Param Jyoti Atma, Ashariraha Atma. The bodiless, unembodied is Atma. That means even the causal body also is not Atma. He is free from, or he is independent, separate from the gross, subtle and causal body, different from, or the adhisthana of the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, something similar to what is taught in the ChandogyaUpanishad. The waker is called the Vishwa, dreamer is called the Tejasa, sleeper is called Prajna, and Chaturtha Turiya, the fourth, who is the Adhisthana. Just bring back to your memory, it is like an actor who first assumed now the role of a king, then assumed the role of a minister, then third assumed the role of a beggar, let us say. Then you have three entities, king, minister, beggar. Each of them looks different from the other. King is dressed in his own way and acts in his own way. Minister is dressed in his own way, acts in his own way. The beggar is dressed according to a beggar and acts as a beggar. So outwardly, each one of them looks different from the other. Outwardly. What makes the difference? It is the costume that makes a difference among them. But the person that is king, the person that is a minister, the person that is beggar is one. So who is the one? Who is that one? The actor. Who is he? He is not the king, he is not the minister, he is not the beggar, he is the one that pervades all of them, that is independent of all of them, who is the adhisthana of all of them. Similarly here also, first say Atma is waker, then he is dreamer, then he is sleeper, then he says that in reality he is the one that is common to all of them, just as the actor is common to the king and the minister and the beggar. So self is common to the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, where waking also is a costume or an acting, the dreaming also is a role, and sleeping also is a role, and one who plays the role is independent of all of them. So it's called ashariraha, bodiless. Here it's called samprasadaha. Samyak prasidati iti samprasadaha. One is very well pleased. So this samprasadaha is the word or the adjective used for the deep sleeper. Because the deep sleeper is well pleased. But then he is ignorant, therefore samprasadaha, the well pleased word, that is primarily used for the wise person. Samprasadaha, one who is very well pleased, very happy. This word samprasadaha is used for a wise person, an enlightened person. who has been taught by the teacher that, hey, you are not the waker, you are not the dreamer, you are not the sleeper, you are one that is common to all of them, who pervades all of them, and who transcends all of them, for whom the waker, dreamer, sleeper are the roles, and you, who is devoid of the role, is independent of them. So now, this Atma, who because of ignorance has identified with the body, by that we mean the body-mind, the gross subtle body. Identified means become indistinguished from the body. He is as good as the body. How he slowly rises from this state of ignorance, attains the state of enlightenment, and recognize himself as the Samprasadaha, as the wise person, as a happy person, because we say in the morning that Ananda is the nature of Atma. So how he becomes established in his nature is Ananda or limitlessness, happiness. So Upanishad in its own interesting and unique ways I have explained this phenomena as to how he who is indistinguished from the body becomes distinguished. In a state of ignorance, he is indistinguished from the body. In state of knowledge, becomes distinguished as Samprasadaha, as Satchidananda. So how from the state of indistinction or non-distinction, how he becomes distinguished as Samprasadaha, as Satchidananda. So, to explain that, in the mantra that we just read, Shruti gives an illustration as to how, from a state of indistinction, then the entities attain state of distinction. So, here is a description of what we see in nature, that before the monsoon season, all we see is the sky, the space, the sky. And then as the monsoon season comes, slowly and slowly then you find the clouds appearing, and then the lightning appearing, and then the cloud appearing, the vayu, the wind appearing, the clouds appearing, the lightning appearing, and then rain appearing. This is the usual phenomenon. That first the wind starts blowing, then you see the clouds coming, then you hear the thunder, and there is rain. So where were all these entities? This wind and cloud and thunder and rain, where were they? They were all one with Akasha, one with space, indistinguished from the space before the rainy season. When the rainy season comes, then all of them gain the distinction. So, how do they gain distinction? When the sun, so the rainy season comes after the scorching sun. After the summer, the scorching sun, the rainy season comes. So because of the scorching light of the sun, all these entities that were formerly indistinguished from space, they all become distinguished because of the light or brightness of the sun. This is the example. Don't ask too many questions. This is what we observe. What we observe is that in the summer, the scorching sun shines, and that is like the message for the following season of monsoon. It's very hot now, therefore the rain should come. So what happens? How you can say is that the scorching heat of the sun, or sun with it, heat and light, separates all these entities which are one earlier. They were all earlier non-distinguished from Akasha or space. And slowly then the wind comes, and then the clouds come, and then the lightning comes, and then the rain comes. So where were they? Formerly they were indistinguishable. They were called by the name Akasha. All these entities, before they attained the state of distinction, what were they called? Akasha. After being distinguished now, each one of them has got their separate name, separate their, rupa. So in the state of ignorance, Atma is indistinguishable from the body. Because Atma is identified with the body. Sa-sharira. So we discussed in the last 2 days. Sa-sharira means one who has become one with the body, identified with the body. Therefore, in the state of ignorance now, we cannot distinguish Atma and the body. They are one. Because of ignorance and because of identification right now, Atma and body or self and body are indistinguishable, right? Like the wind and the clouds and the lightning and rain were all indistinguishable from Akasha. Then comes the sun with scorching heat, he separates all of them. So the sun of the knowledge comes. Here the sun of knowledge comes. And by the light of knowledge, all these entities that were all indistinguishable now become distinguishable. And therefore Atma becomes distinguished from the body. Sounds funny? This is Shruti. These are the all rustic examples. Examples drawn from the day-to-day observation. And those who have that orientation, from there it becomes easy to understand. We may have to think about it. Although in Rushikesh we know all of this. But anyway, so the passage that we just read said, Ashariro Vayuhu. The Vayu, Sharira means body. Asharira, bodiless. The Vayu is bodiless. The air is bodiless. Abram, the cloud is bodiless. Vidyut, the lightning is bodiless. Stanaitnuhu, the roar of the clouds. So that also is, so right now you don't have anything. So they are all indistinguishable, they are all bodiless, you can say, Because you don't see a cloud, you don't see lightning, you don't hear the thunder. So there is no thunder. And then, Asharirani etani, they are not distinguishable from Akasha space, and therefore they are Asharirani, meaning they are bodiless. Amushmat akashat samuthaya param jyoti upasampadya. Then param jyoti, that bright light of sun comes. Then because of that, all of these which are indistinguishable from akasha, they all become distinguished. Because the rainy season comes, and then the wind comes, and then the clouds come, and then the lightning comes, and the rain comes. So not that they are created from, they were there. But they were indistinguishable, they were formerly called Akasha. And now with the heat of sun, all of them which were indistinguishable Akasha became distinct. So also right now this Atma is indistinguishable from body. When the light of knowledge comes, the sun of knowledge comes, it all becomes distinct. So now you know the body is body, you know Atma is Atma, gross body is gross body, subtle body is subtle body, causal body is causal body, and Atma is Atma. Does not impress you? This example. Nobody seems to be excited. But this is a nice example. Something that we experience, in our day-to-day life. Then we go to the next passage, which also you will see in your cell phone or whatever, or repeat after me. कल सवारे हमने कॉपी करना आप जे okay. They're high-tech people, so they don't see the need of. But I can't do without hard copy myself. If you give me that cell phone, I'm not comfortable. Okay, so please repeat. Evameva Eshaha Samprasadaha Asmat Sharirat Samuthaya Param Jyotihi Upasampadya Svena Rupena Abhinishpadyate Saha Uttama Purushaha Saha Tatra Pariyeti Jakshata Kridan Ramamanaha Stribhirva Yanirva Jnatibhirva Na Upajanam Smaran Idam Shariram Sayatha Prayogyaha Acharane Yuktaha Evameva Ayam Asmin Sharire Prana Yuktaha Evameva, in a manner similar to what we described, from state of indistinguishable to the state of distinction. In state of ignorance, Atma is indistinguishable from the body. Evameva. So just as the Vayu, the clouds, the thunder, the rain, all of these become separated from Akasha on account of the heat of sun. In a manner similar to that, Esha Samprasadaha. The word Samprasada is very often used in this Upanishad. Prasada, Prasannata. So, Samyak Prasidati iti Samprasada. One is well pleased is called Samprasada. Now, the word Samprasada is also used for the deep sleeper, because deep sleeper also is a pleased one. Not because of knowledge or anything, not that he has accomplished anything, but fortunately in the state of deep sleep, all those things that can create anxieties, worries, conflicts, unhappiness, all of those things are absent. Even now also our nature is samprasada, happiness. But in waking or dream we do not experience that, because these factors such as dehoham, I am the body, I am sukhi, I am dukhi, the various notions that I am entertaining about myself right now, the question can be, Swamiji, if happiness, ananda, wholeness is our nature, how come we don't experience that? Waking, we do experience that. Not that we do not experience that ananda. But at the same time we experience other stuff also. These other fellows come in the way. What is it? Sukhiyaham, Dukhiyaham, Dehoham, I am the body, I am a human being, I am happy, I am unhappy. All these notions or complexes, they all manifest, and therefore this experience of myself being ananda is hidden, or so these entities do not allow me to experience my nature of happiness. I am experiencing now also. Because ananda is my swarupa, it is self-evident, therefore we cannot but experience ananda. But at the same time we experience also that I am a human being and I am a doer, I am an experiencer, I am happy, I am unhappy, etc. And those things as though cover or veil that experience of I am Ananda. In that place we experience only I am a karta, bhokta, sukhi, dukhi, I am a doer, enjoyer, happy, unhappy, father, son. Therefore, in the waking state, even though Ananda is our nature, we do not recognize it. Not that we don't experience it. Experiencing is one thing, recognizing is a different thing. Understand? Experience is not a problem in our life, recognition is the problem. And therefore Puja always says, experience is dumb. You always have problem with experience, whatever the thing is. But anyway, meaning that experience is required, understand. What is meant by knowledge is understanding experience. You follow? That's called knowledge. Knowledge is understanding. If you know experience, what is knowledge? So something falls. An apple fell from the tree. That experience is there. As a result of the vichara and inquiry, it led to the understanding that there is this force called gravity. That experience led to understanding of this gravity which is called knowledge. You understand this? Knowledge presupposes experience. And therefore what Upanishad does is analyzes our experiences. Because I, the self, is involved in every experience. No experience can take place without I, isn't it? I am happy, I am unhappy, I am man, woman. I am always there. So when I experience happy, and I am also experiencing I am, by the way. When I am happy, not only I experience happy fellow, but I experience I am, isn't it? So without experience of I cannot experience happy, unhappy, good, bad, indifferent, anything. The happy fellow takes so much of my attention that I am is not taken note of. You follow? Therefore Upanishad draws our attention to understanding what we are experiencing. Understand that you are experiencing I am, and that I am is self-shining, self-revealing. And this happy and unhappy man, woman, they do not belong to I am, they belong to the object. I am is the subject. That is how the viveka or distinction is done. To help us understand and experience that I am body. But I am and body are not in the same locus, understand? Different locus. What's the locus of I am? Subject. What's the locus of body? Object. We lump them together and then conclude that I am the body. So that experience is just, Vedanta simply takes that experience and says it. Look, this reveals that the body is object and you are the subject. Anyway, so the point is that I am is always, that samprasada, I am always, the Ananda is always experienced by me. Because Ananda is my Swarupa. But in the waking and dream states, etc., because of ignorance, because I am identified with the body and the mind, therefore, various notions arising from that identification, they become so predominant that poor I am, which is Ananda, it remains unnoticed. You follow? They take over my attention. Sukhi and Dukhi and they become so predominant that I ignore the fact that I am. And therefore, the teacher says, look what the nature is, how the two entities which are different have become indistinguished. I am is one entity, Sharira is another entity. When I say Shariroham, I am the body, then by ignorance, they are as though they have become indistinguished. So Atma has become indistinguished from the body because of ignorance, because of identification. So distinguish them. So just as all these clouds and so forth were all indistinguished from the space, and because of the heat of the sun they become distinguished. So also in ignorance, Atma is indistinguished from the body, and when the light of sun knowledge comes, they become distinguished. This is an example, a very rustic kind of example, a beautiful example, Evameva esha samprasada asmat sharirat samuthaya. In a manner similar to that, esha samprasada, this samprasada, this pleased one, the enlightened one, the Jivatma, Atma, the enlightened one. We are all samprasada. Only difference is the wise person knows and we do not know, that's all. Esha means this self-evident. Esha samprasada, this self-evident samprasada, the happy self, the pleased one. Remember a Puja Swami saying that everybody loves the pleased self. Atmastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everything is dear to me because what is dear? The pleased self is dear to me. That's samprasada. But that is my nature. So just in the state of ignorance, this samprasada is Atma, or Ananda Swarupa Atma, who because of ignorance was indistinguished from body. When the light of knowledge, when the sun light of, the sun of the nature of knowledge shines, then those indistinguished now become distinguished. Asmat sharirat samuthaya, he arises from this body. Arising is not in action. It's a way of describing. Arising meaning that having given up the identification, the light of knowledge, just as Prajapati taught Indra. First Prajapati said to Indra, hey, you are a waker, Yakshini Purusha. Next time says, you are the dreamer. Fortunately, Indra deliberated upon this and recognized the difficulties with this, and so, although he did not know what Prajapati meant to convey, he just took the Vachyartha, or the literal meaning of the waker and dreamer, and said, Naham Bhogyam Pashyami. If this is Atma, I see no purpose. This is not Amrutam Abhayam Etad Brahma. But that tube light never happened. That by this Prajapati means not the waker, but then one who is the true essential nature of the waker. That waker is a changing entity. And changing entity cannot be nature of anything. Nature is always unchanging. The nature of fire is heat or light, unchanging. Nature of sun is brightness, unchanging. Here also, what is our nature? That does not change. In me, something keeps on changing. I am a karta, bhokta, sukhi, dukhi, etc. keeps changing. But I am, never changes. That's the essential nature. This is what Prajapati taught Indra. Waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. So, waker identified gross body, dreamer give up identification in gross body. Sleeper, give identification with the subtle body. Samprasada, identifying the causal body, ignorance. Asmat sharirat samuthaya, thus arising from this body, meaning that distinguishing himself from the body by knowledge, not by physical process. In the example, there is a physical separation from Akasha, etc. That's just an example. Here is not a physical separation, but then separation as though by knowledge. Param Jyoti Upasampadya, he attains Param Jyoti. Jyoti here means a light. Here it means the light of consciousness. Param Jyoti, it means the limitless light of consciousness. Upasampadya, attaining that, becoming that. Svena Rupena, Avinishpadyate, he becomes established in his own essential nature. Samuthaya Dehadi Vailaksham Atmano Rupam Avagamya Yata Bhavanam Hitva. So far he thought that I am the body, not distinguished from the body. Then he realizes that no, I am not the body, and that is how Dehatmatam, giving up the identification of the body and recognizing his own true nature. Svena Rupana Sadatmana Abhinishpadyate. Now he becomes established in his own nature without Sadatma. The Atma, that is the Sattva existence. So Bhashyakara says that just as the rope becomes a snake. See, understand the rope snake example, by the way, or the pot spade example. The Vedantin gives an example of the pot space. What is pot space? The space circumscribed by the pot, space limited by the pot, which limitation is due to adhyasa, superimposition, ignorance. So, that example is not for you and I. For me to say that this pot space, that is not example. I have this Brahma that this is pot space, is not a problem. The space has a problem. So what's the example? The space thinks that I am pot space. You follow? If I say this pot space, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, no big deal for me. The Rajju Sarpa means rope and snake, so I think that this is snake and alright. Doesn't affect me much. But the rope thinks that I am snake. That is the example. You follow? Then it suffers, poor thing. Everybody throws stones at me, the rope really suffers. Because people are throwing stones at him. You are running away from him. Doesn't understand why this is so. This rope has become samsari. Why? This notion that I am a snake. Not you and I that this is snake, so what? So real example is rope thinks that I am snake. Or space thinks that I am pot space. That's the real example. Then poor space suffers. When space thinks that I am pot space and this is another pot space and then there is another third space, then space feels a sense of confinement to this little pot. And all pervasive space feeling that I am only as little as pot is a miserable situation. For me to think that there is a pot, it's okay, Doesn't cause any misery in me. This is an example of samsara. Therefore, it is space that thinks that I am pot space. It is rope that thinks that I am a snake. Rope cannot understand why people treat me like this. And so, yatha rajjuhu bhranti nimittat sarpo bhavati rajjuhu. Here Bhashyakara says, just as the rope, the snake becomes rope. Yatha sarpa rajjuhu bhavati. Snake becomes rope. Can the snake become rope? Snake becomes rope. Can snake become rope? No. One who thinks I am a snake becomes rope, meaning recognizes that I am rope. If I recognize that it is rope, that, of course they explain that example, it causes fear in me, etc. etc. For years we have talked about this. But it is later that I recognize the real example is this. That's all you do, for years and years when you keep on teaching Vedanta. Then some tube lights happen. This is for the students who are going to teach. And so they should understand it properly. Yatha sarpaha rajjuhu bhavati. Just as a snake becomes a rope, or the one who thought, I am snake, now recognizes that I am the rope. And so one who thought that I am sashariraha, I am a jivatma, I am body, becomes what? Ashariraha, unembodied. Paschat kruta prakasha rajvatmana siven rupana abhinishpadyate. See, this is a very interesting thing. Bhashyakara says, यथा रज्जुः सर्पो भवति पश्चात् कृत प्रकाशा रज्ज्वात्मना स्वेन रूपेण अभिनिष्पद्यते. Rajju, by the way, is a word in feminine gender in Sanskrit. Therefore, the Rajju which thought that I am snake, Kruta Prakasha Rajju. When then the Rajju or the rope was now illumined, Rajvatmana Sven Rupena Abhinishpadyate, then that what thought that I was, the one that thought that I am snake, now attains its own nature as Rajju. Bhashyakara says that. So Rajjuhu Rajvatmana Sven Rupena Abhinishpadyate. So Kruta Prakasha Rajjuhu. When Rajju is thus, Kruta Prakasha, when it is illumined, the Rajju sees, I am Rajju, I am not snake. So problem is for Rajju or rope to think that I am snake. Not for you and I. We may have some problem, that we may be a little scared here and there and then walk away from that. But for the rope to think that I am snake is a lifetime problem. Isn't it? For us it may be a temporary problem. But for the rope to think that I am snake is a lifetime problem. And unfortunately rope doesn't have any light, so somebody has to bring the torch light and throw it and show it at the rope and teach the rope, hey, look at who you are. Kruta Prakasha Rajjuhu, that Rajju, the rope, which thus illumined now, sees, hey, I am rope. And here also, this one also has to be illumined. So teacher throws a light of knowledge at this individual and makes me see that I am not the Sharira, I am not Sasharira, I am Asharira. My essential nature is bodiless, I am unembodied, I am. The unembodied means, not one who is departed from the body, etc. Unembodied means devoid of body, meaning that Asharira, not limited by the body, who is limitless. Evam cha saha uttama purushaha. Then now, see this word uttama purusha comes in this Upanishad. Uttama purushastvanya. So in Bhagavad Gita, because Lord Krishna says, what is it? Jasmat ksharamatiitoham aksharadavichottama atosmi loke vedecha prasthitah purushottama. Lord Krishna says that because I am above your, beyond this kshara purusha, the mutable and also immutable cause or maya, Therefore in Loka, in the world, and in the Veda, I am called Uttama Purusha. Where is it? In Veda it is hard to find that word, Atosmi loke vede cha prathitah purushottama. Therefore in the Loka, Loka means in Loka Vyavahara, in day and among people. And Vede cha, and Veda also, I am called Uttama Purusha. You have to search for the whole Veda, This is where it is. Uttama Purusha. It may be elsewhere, but then the Upanishads that we have studied, we haven't found Uttama Purusha anywhere. But this is where it is. Uttama Purusha. Uttamaschasau Purushasya iti Uttama Purusha. That's how Bhashyakara explains. Purushanam Uttama Purusha. Yasmat Sharamati Aksharadapi Chottama Atosmi loke Vedesha Prathitah Purushottama. Because I am superior to the Kshara Purusha and also beyond the Kshara Purusha, therefore among these Purushas I am Uttama Purusha. But Uttama Purusha also explains Uttamaschasau Purusha. Because here that Kshara business is not there. Meaning that here the Upanishad is about Uttama Purusha. And therefore Uttamaschasau Purushasya Uttama Purushasya. That Uttama and Purusha. What is Uttama? So Akhandanji explains there, Uttama is a superlative degree. Uttara, Uttama. Comparative, Uttara. Means above. Uttara, more above. Uttama, most above. Uttara, Uttama. The Ut is what? Kshara Purusha. Uttara is what? Akshara Purusha. Uttama is what? Paramatma. Uttamaschasau Purushasya iti Uttama Purusha. Seva Uttama Purusha. So Akshi Swapna Purusha Vyakto Avyaktauscha. So Akshi Swapna Purusha Vyakto. Going to the Mandukya Karika, then the waker and the dreamer are Vyakta means their experience, and the sleeper is Avyakta, unmanifest. So waker and dreamer are manifest, and deep sleeper is unmanifest. Avyaktascha sushuptah samastah samprasannah. So now this Uttama Purusha, the Paramatma, which is my essential nature, so why, now again Uttama Purusha, another explanation is given. There is Vyakta Purusha, Avyakta Purusha, Uttama Purusha. Vyakta Purusha, the waker and dreamer. Avyakta Purusha, the sleeper. Uttama Purusha, the Paramatma, who is the Adhisthana of all of them. Samastaha, who is complete because he has withdrawn himself completely and therefore totally devoid of any contact with the world. Samprasanna, completely pleased. Asharirascha Svena Rupena, who is unembodied by his own nature. So Bhashyakara remembers Bhagavad Gita here and says how Lord Krishna has explained this. Tvavemo Purusho Loke Ksharascha Ksharevacha Ksharasarvani Bhutani Kutastho Kshara Uchyate Uttama Purushastvanya. Sounds familiar? So if you are listening to the chanting, but then we are busy with serving ourselves and finding our seat and stuff like that. So the chanting is going on. But the 15th chapter, which we are reciting before the meals, says this. Dvavimau Purusho Loke Ksharascha Ksharevacha. In this world, two Purushas are there. Kshara Purusha, meaning there are two expressions of Purusha or Paramatma. What is Ishvara? Ishvara's immediate expression that we experience is Kshara Purusha. All these changing, the Vinashi or the Nashvara, all that is subject to destruction or death. All that is mortal is also Paramatma. All names and forms that we experience also is Paramatma. Also the manifestation of Paramatma of Kshara Purusha, the changing experience of Paramatma, the Kshara, that means changing, or that which is model expression of Paramatma. Akshara Purusha, that which does. So Kshara means that which is model, subject to destruction, subject to death. Akshara not subject to death. Bhashyakara doesn't say that means Paramatma, it means the cause Maya. Akshara Purusha means the cause Maya. Ksharas sarvani bhutani kutastha akshara uchyate uttamah purushastvanya Paramatma iti udahurtah. Paramatma is Uttama Purusha. Kshara the effect, Akshara the cause, and Paramatma is beyond both the effect and the cause. The gross body, subtle body, causal body, one that is transcends all the three. Sa samprasadaha sveda rupena tatra swatmani swasthataya sarvatma pariyeti. So then the next part of the passage describes the Jivan Mukta. So one who has gained this knowledge and abides in this knowledge is Jivan Mukta. So in a very interesting manner, also in a unique manner, the Jivan Mukta is described here. How? Jakshat Kridat Ramamana, laughing, sporting, enjoying with women and enjoying with the vehicles. So Stribirva, Yanirva, Jnatibirva, or with his friends and relatives. That the wise person is happy is described in this, in this manner. He is laughing and jakshat, kridat, ramana, sporting, reveling in himself with whatever it is around. So that is description of happiness. How do you describe that he is happy? In this Upanishad, that the wise person is happy is described this way. That doesn't mean that when we do this we become wise or something like that. But he's eating and laughing and sporting. So Swami, that's what we do anyway. But whether we do it or it happens like that, whether laughing is because of a cause or laughing is without the cause. We also laugh, but because there is a cause. Something nice has happened, something funny has happened, therefore I laugh. But if you laugh without reason, you can be crazy also. But a wise person laughs without a reason. The happiness which is welling up within his heart just manifests in this manner. As well, Dakshinamurti only smiles. Svatmaramam mudidavadanam. But then sometimes wise people also, that all kinds of, if you see the description of the wise people, if you communicate with some people here in Rushikesh and they will tell you many experiences, but strange kinds of people are there. Every description of a wise person you will find. And this all is fine, of laughing and playing and sporting. And sometimes with people, sometimes even with vehicles also. No upajanam smaran idam shariram. Now what is the difference between this person and the ordinary people is that upajanam idam smarim na smaran. He does not remember this body which is born of the contact of the parents, man and woman. He is not aware of the body. That means that his laughing, sporting, etc. is not arising on account of the awareness of the body, awareness of this, the personality. It is arising without any reason. That's why it is said here, he does not remember I am so and so, does not remember this body that is born of the contact of the parents. So yatha prayogya acharane yuktaha. Just as a horse is joined with a chariot, evayam asmin sharire prana yuktaha. So in this body of the wise person, the prana is like a horse. Prana does everything, he does not do anything. So, how to describe the akartrutva? So, the chariot is running and the horse is joined to the chariot. Similarly also, a horse is joined to the chariot, the body. What is the horse? That prana. Prana does everything. He does not, meaning that he knows himself akarta, naiva kinchit karomiti. So, this is the description. We will continue the discussion tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.